Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your immigration questions and also to bring a great topic for you. I am running a little late, so I'm going to jump straight into the topic. While I'm talking, though, go ahead and put your questions in the comments. And if you would like to follow up and continue asking questions, you can do that by going over to the immigration attorney on Instagram because I will continue the live there. So today I wanted to talk about who qualifies for VAWA. Now, generally, the spouse of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, the son or daughter under 21, under 25 in some cases, of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, and also the parent of a U.S. citizen who is 21 and up. If those relatives are mistreating you, that could be verbally, mentally, emotionally, financially, if they're manipulative, if they're calling you names, if they're yelling at you, if they're being intentionally cruel towards you, these are examples of mistreatment that may qualify you to apply on your own. When you apply on your own, it's confidential. Your relative who is being mistreating you will not be in trouble. It's not going to set off an investigation by law enforcement of your relative. This is solely for you to get your situation evaluated and then determine whether you qualify to get your own status, your own work permit, your own permanent residence without involving this abusive relative. So it is there, it is about you, it is there for your protection. Now, I want to delve into who qualifies for VAWA a little bit more than just the surface, just because there are other aspects that you should know about. So, for example, the spouse of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, that can mean different things, right? Because being generally, when we think about being the spouse of someone else, we think about, them having to go through go through the process with a married, go through a wedding, get a marriage certificate, the marriage is legally recognized through this ceremony, but it can go a lot deeper than that. And so if, for example, you are married to someone, you find out that they were married to someone else and they just made you think you were legally married to them, because remember, in the United States, generally, when you're married to someone, you cannot go and marry somebody else without terminating the previous marriage. But you do have some individuals that do things like that, and that can be considered extreme cruelty. And in addition to that, they will recognize that as a marriage for the purposes of the VAWA. So that is one thing. And also, if you're not formally married, but if you live in a state that recognizes common law marriages, then you could still qualify to apply for this protection, even though you didn't, put on a big fancy dress and get married in a ceremony or get a marriage certificate. There are still ways to be recognized by certain states in the United States as being in a common law marriage. That's where it's important for you to get legal advice, because your relationship with your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident may not be may not be the typical we think about, but that may also qualify you for VAWA, just like what I explained with spouses. So common law marriages, and if your spouse got married was married to somebody else and made you think that you were legally married to them when you weren't, when the marriage wasn't valid. Also, when you are talking about parent-child relationship, step-parents and step-children qualify for VAWA. This means that you're not related by blood, but you're related by marriage, and so you become the stepchild, or if you're the parent, you become the step-parent. You qualify for VAWA as well if you're being mistreated by this parent or the child. Now, when we talk about step parents, remember, under immigration law, A step parent is someone who got married to the parent before the children turned 18. That applies to the children as well. So the children have to be under 18 at the time that the U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident married the parents of the children. Also, if you were adopted, this qualifies you as well. So if you were adopted, legally adopted by a parent, or if you're the adoptive parent and you're being mistreated, you could qualify to gain status on your own. But make sure that you get legal advice to confirm you qualify and to get the right legal guidance so that it is presented in an effective way to show exactly how you qualify under the law. Then also let's talk about being under the child. So generally children of U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents who are being mistreated or who were mistreated can qualify for VAWA as long as they apply before they turn 21. However, if the delay the delay to apply was caused by the abuse or the mistreatment or the extreme cruelty, this could also count as well. So for instance, if you have a parent who they brought you here and then they abandoned you, they became a deadbeat parent, they intentionally did things to hurt you, they threatened you, tried to control you by not applying for you, these are abusive tactics and this could qualify you. And you may have not applied for VAWA because your parent was promising you the whole time that they would assist you. And so this is just an example of what kinds of delays you can explain to be able to apply after 21. You have up until you're 25. So once you reach the age of 25, you would not be able to apply for VAWA again. So this is what I wanted to talk to you in regards to who qualifies for VAWA. And so it doesn't necessarily have to fall within the traditional, typical type of parent-child relationship or spousal relationship. It could be a common law marriage. It could be a marriage where the spouse tricked you into or made you think you were legally married when you weren't. With the parent-child is step parents and stepchildren also qualify. Adoptive parents and adopted children, they also qualify if they can show mistreatment. So I'm going to stop and answer some questions. And thanks, Amanda. Thanks so much for the follower. I appreciate it. So 601A wait times, you can check the service center on uscis.gov and it's going to tell you the exact wait times for that you should be expecting for your case. So go to case processing times. How soon after approval message from USCIS? We are actively reviewing and nothing is outstanding. So it's impossible to say. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a decision tomorrow. Cassandra, it could still mean that you're going to get a decision a year from now. I did have one client where we saw that message for a full year before we got the decision. So what the best thing you can do to get an idea of the range of time that you may be waiting is if you go to uscis.gov and go to case processing times on the homepage, and you'll be able to see the range of time you could be waiting for your case based on the service center. How do I my taxes this year as single or married, since I do not want to legalize my husband? So that's too specific, Chicky baby. I would have to do a consultation with you to determine exactly what your goals are and advise accordingly. I have a 2-year green card through marriage. Do I have to file tax with my husband? Well, that comes down to a tax question, right? If you're married, you have every right to file your taxes, but what are the tax implications involved if you should file with your taxes with your spouse? It is great evidence. Joint tax returns are great. It's great evidence to show that you continue to have a bona fide marriage after you get your green card, because you remember you're going to go from the 2-year to the 10-year. But is in regards to your taxes, for example, if your husband is going to have a steep tax liability and you could possibly get around that, if for example, if he has child support payments that will be drawn from his tax return, that's going to also include your tax returns and could possibly take out of your return. So you would really have to get tax advice as well as, but I can tell you on the immigration side, it's good evidence. But is it a good idea to file jointly? That's a decision you'll have to make based on the tax consequences you'll face. Do you use your husband's last name on your application for green card or your maiden name? So it depends on what your legal name is right now. Did you change your name to your spouse's? If you did, then you would use your legal name. But if you didn't change it, you would use your legal name, the name that you have on your identification. And then remember, there's also a space on the forms for other names. And if you do sometimes refer to yourself by the married name, you can always put it there. You're welcome, Cassandra. After 5 years and I apply for citizenship, how long I have to wait to be approved? Processing times range. With my cases, I'm seeing anywhere from 2 months to 6 months, but that past results does not mean that my future clients will get those same results, and it doesn't mean that you'll get the same results. I am seeing wait times going up to a year for citizenship. So it really depends. So how does it affect my 10-year approval? I wouldn't be able to tell you how it's going to affect your 10-year, because remember, that's the purpose, Tuk 1981, of the consultation. It wouldn't be fair for me to tell you, give you full-fledged legal advice here, because it would not be accurate. I guarantee you of that. In order to determine whether it will affect your 10-year approval, I would have to evaluate your entire case. I'd have to look at what other types of evidence do you have? What's the situation with your spouse right now, to determine what would be the best way to move forward? What would be the best evidence to use? Do you use your maiden name or your husband's surname for your green card application? It depends. What is your legal name that you're using right now? So Mishka, you're welcome. So that's going to be it for me today. I will be back on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I know I came on late today. If you did not get to ask your question, or you now have a question that you want to ask, join me on Instagram. I'm going to be on Instagram in a quick minute. I'm the immigration attorney on Instagram. Join me there and we can continue the conversation on Instagram and also on Facebook. I'm ST Law Office on Facebook. I am here Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, where I bring a good topic, and I also answer your questions. So, Sherry, I'm going to answer one more question. Then please join me on Instagram or Facebook to continue asking your questions. Hi, good afternoon. If someone overstays 24, yes, what can they do? So I think that's 24 years. What can they do? And they married someone with a green card. So Sherry, if you're married to someone with a green card, you need to schedule an appointment and we can evaluate your situation in detail. There may be different options available to you, but it's going to come down to your circumstances. A green card holder spouse can apply for you, but there is a waiver process. Also, the green card holder spouse can also apply for citizenship. But if that's not an option, there are other situations. So for example, there's VAWA. If you are in a situation where your spouse has not applied for you all these years because they're also mistreating you. If you have a history of mistreatment in your marriage, that could also be a basis. I just talked about who qualifies for that, and it's spouses of U.S. citizens, legal permanent residents. So we can talk more in a consultation. Go to the link in the profile. It'll take you directly to the website where you can schedule your appointment. You can speak to the scheduling coordinator via online chat or completely web form. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. If I don't see you in a live, I hope to speak with you in a consultation, or I hope to see you in a quick minute on Instagram or Facebook at ST Law Office on Instagram. I'm the immigration attorney. Join me so that we can continue this conversation. Have a good weekend if I don't see you in a minute. Bye-bye.